Sports Network broadcast. You can find us on Roku TV, Amazon Fire Stick TV, Facebook, and YouTube. Get all your sports news here first. The daily podcasts are Ken and Ken in the Morning, Lions Talk with Smoking Jeremy B, Wrestling Roundup, The Big Football Show, and more, Shield TV, Lions Villain Report, and Red Zone Rant. The afternoon podcasts are Valhalla, Grosef Sports, WCFL Dolphins Talk, The Cheap Seats, The Bodkin Show, Spirit of Detroit Podcast, and Maniacs. The nightly podcasts are Hallis Hall Report, Frozen Tundra Network, Skull Gang 365, The Huddle Sports Network Open Mic, First and 10 with Foz, Main Event Football Show, Prime Sports World, The Man Cave, Prim and Proper Sports. Spitballing Podcast, Lions Fan Cave Chat, Puckett, 313 Den Podcast, The Guys Huddle, Shots from the Sideline, Let's Talk Sports, The Michigan Truth Sports Podcast, Off the Rails, NFC Northeast, Power Hours, and Detroit Lions News. Make sure you follow, like, share, subscribe, and comment.
Here locally in the community, make sure y'all go check out Kneecap Body by Jeremy Hutchinson.
Good afternoon. It is Lions Talk with Smoking Jeremy B. I am happy to say that was a success for the first ever Ford Field watch party. This was from the balcony right above where our seats were. That was the view outside prior to the game, and I had to put that out there. I think that's a gorgeous picture. I even seen Ken Catalone in his new VWO attire. With that being said, Charles Harris was in the intro because I met him personally. He did that as a favor to me. He didn't charge me a dime for it. So I will leave that intro in as long as I'm a Lions fan, because the fact I got to meet him face to face in 2022 prior to a snap being played that season, it was an amazing experience. So that being said, let's get into this game. We dominated 100% from the beginning to the end. We let them drive down and get a field goal. We started scoring touchdowns and never looked back. That is what I said we needed to do. All we gave up was field goals. Every time they had a chance for a red zone touchdown, it was either Brian Branch or Kirby Joseph picking them off. And when you see the other angle of that replay of the Brian Branch interception, that was amazing how he got that versus with CD being the guy at the back of the end zone. I will show the towel. It's not down here with me. Good Lord, let me talk football. I'm not worried about showing off what I got from the thing. I want to talk football. Let me do my show. The only score we scored less than 10 points was the first quarter. We scored 20 in the second quarter, third in the third quarter, 4. And we scored 10 more in the fourth quarter. You couldn't have asked for a better game. We did exactly what we wanted them to do. We gave up a field goal in 3 quarters and nothing in the fourth. It- I'm here to talk football. That's what I'm here to talk about. I'm here to relish in a victory. I don't want to go into the negative side of it because it's not as negative as we thought it was going to be. It's not a career-ending injury. He'll be. It looks like he'll be back next year better than ever. I don't want to focus on the next. Hey, and Sub Zero got the fumble recovery. He still contributed. You know what you didn't see? You didn't see a pass interference call by Terrion Arnold. We saw Trevor Nowaski that right after the injury happened, Trevor Nowaski gets called on a blitz play and makes the sack. And didn't I say if he got a chance to play on defense, he'd show out? And he did. Uku got a chance to play. He made 2 tackles. He didn't. The entire second string defense did. We started pulling people out after that. Uku was in. He made a couple key stops in the run game. Pascal made some key stops in the run game. Aleem had a sack or two. Good Lord, it was an amazing performance by the defense. AG actually called a solid defense, 100%. Yes. And what did I say Friday night? For those of you that watched, of what I wanted to see at the end of the game is Hendon Hooker taking snaps because that means we're up so much they can't touch us. It happened. So 8 of 23 for 315 yards and 3 touchdowns. Yes, it's Victory Monday, and we're focused on the Lions. I'm not talking Bears. I'm not talking Packers. I'm not talking smack talk. If you want to do that shit, jump off because I'm not up for talking shit today. I've got enough shit on my plate. The Hendon Hooker got to throw his first 2 passes, and he was sacked one time with the backup O lineman in. Most yardage was Jamal Williams at 3 catches for 76 yards and a tutty. 4 catches and 73 yards for Khalif Raymond. 3 catches for 68 yards for Tim Patrick. 1 catch for 52 yards and a tutty with Sam Laporta. 3 catches for Jameer Gibbs and 28 yards. 4 catches for Amon-Ra St. Brown and a tutty. You know why Jerry was crying? Because they talked about it. Tom Brady even talked about it prior to the game. Yeah, today is Jerry Jones' birthday. Just prior to the game, they gave him his birthday cake with the 82 candles. They couldn't take it into the suite because it had set off the fire alarm. I thought that was great. But Terry on Arnold, no PIs. Right now, I'm not focusing on anything going past the game yesterday. I'm talking the game. I don't. I don't want to speculate. I don't want to talk bullshit. I don't do the whole clickbait sports type shit. You know, everybody's talking Trayvon Walker and Max Crosby. Crosby has shot down every trade, and that was a celebratory shove on the Raiders roster. He wasn't trying to hurt the guy. Oh, Tim Patrick has actually stepped right into the Josh Reynolds role, is what I see. Every pass, every pass he caught, first down, first down, and he had that deep pass. What was that long one? I want to say he had a long of yeah, he had a long of 42. And that was in air yards, guys. That wasn't just a little dink and dunk pass. That was dropped in his bread basket. I couldn't believe he made that catch. That was amazing. Yeah, I'm talking the game right now. Yes, it's Happy Victory Monday. We are not focusing on the injury yet. I'm talking. No, Davis is in concussion protocol. He may not be here for Minnesota. If he clears Thursday, he'll get to play. I want to talk the game. I don't want to talk all the bullshit right now. There will come a time when I'll address that. All I say is the videos and the pictures that I received while at that game. I thank everybody, but it made it look way worse than it is. You know it's bad at AT&T Stadium on Twitter blurred out the score. Yeah, I know. Our great kick returner, Khalil Dorsey, brought that out to almost midfield for us. That was huge. Leaf Raymond, he didn't do much on punts, but he was good in the passing game. Jake Bates, perfect, 4 for 4, and all those extra points. And it's NFL history, folks. The Lions Cowboy marked the first time an NFL game ended in a 47-9 score ever in NFL history. That's kind of a cool one. Oh yeah, he was mad. It was a concentration thing. He turned away from the ball, moved his hands, it hit his shoulder. He didn't. It really wasn't even a drop. You know, I watched it. It hit him in the shoulder pad, but it counts as a drop on the stats because it hit him. I have a report. I will talk Hutch after I finish talking about the game. I don't want to talk Hutch till I'm done talking about the game. I've said this 100 times. I don't want to repeat myself every 5 seconds. I'm tired of repeating it. Aleem had 2 sacks. Trevor Nowaski had a sack. I think even um Onwuzurike got back there and put his hands on Dak a couple times. Branch had 2 interceptions and a forced fumble. The recovery was by Arnold. Uh, Kirby Joseph, another stealth interception against who? CD Lamb. Jumped up and grabbed it. I don't know why people can't see him. But now, guess who didn't have an interception yesterday? Everybody keeps bringing it up. It's frustrating. That's all, Joseph. So I'm doing it my way. I will cover the other stuff at the end. This was by far AG's best job calling a defense. We never stopped bringing the pressure. That was the biggest thing. It was a it was amazing to see. The pressure was on the entire game. We saw pressure coming from everywhere. Rodriguez got back there. Whenever Campbell, yes, it was good to see the offense and defense play great in the same game because we hadn't seen it yet. Our boys played awesome, so awesome. Yes. So let's go to the offense side of the ball and talk about that run game because I'll tell you what, both our boys did their job. 12 carries, 80 yards, 2 touchdowns, 12 carries. That's Monty. Jameer Gibbs, 12 carries, 63 yards. Monty had 6.7. Jameer Gibbs had 5.2. Craig Reynolds got into the rushing game. He had 6 for 21 and 3.5. Jamal Williams had a rush for a first down and 1 for 11. Jared Goff had 3 for 5 yards despite everything else. And Sion Vaki even had a 5 yard run. Yeah, we did not punt once. Sam Martin was left on, I mean, Jack Fox was left on the sideline. punting. It's blank. So does that mean the defense gets special teams player of the week? Because we didn't have to flip the field. We just got turnovers and said, fuck it. 3 interceptions and a forced fumble. That's better than a punt on offense. I think we forced like 3 punts too. Let's go see. How many times did their punt? Oh, he punted twice. Our fans travel. They always travel. I bet you Dallas D-line is still picking Montgomery foot off their asses for missing too many tackles. Brett DeWitt says it was nice to see Jack Fox take the game off. It was. Brandon Aubrey was 3 for 3. He was your only scorer. The guy that scared the shit out of me was Turpin on the kick returns. That guy damn near broke 2. Jake Bates had to tackle him one time. That's how fast he is. The guy had 4 for 194 yards with a 48.5 average on kick returns, and they never did anything with it. You can have your field goal. You ain't getting 7. Brian Branch and Kirby made sure of that. Oh, yeah. But as I said earlier, now we're going to get into everything else. Look at that. In VWO attire, Ken Catalone showed up to the game. I don't know how he got there from Pennsylvania so fast, but that's what it is. That's him. Now, let's get into the bad. This is what I got sent. And I knew right there it was a broken leg. The good news is, yeah, I know you were, but it was a legit call. They showed the replay. It was legit. I'm going to get into this now. Thanks to reports from Aiden Hutchinson, his family, and other sources close to Texas at the hospital where Hutch is, there was no vein, ligament, tendon damage, no nerve damage. It was a clean break. Still had to have surgery to mend it. Still looking at a 6 to 9 month recovery time, but it does not look like the career ender. I expected to maul their offense. David Barnett, I called it out. In fact, I want to go. We can rebuild him. We have the technology. We can make him better than he was. Better, stronger, faster. So I named my article, The Lions Travel to Dallas for Another Gridiron Match. He's the man, defensively. Force the Cowboys to be one-dimensional. Get pressure on Dak. Play mostly man coverage. Dak has feasted in the second half of games against zone defenses. The return of Brian Branch gives us a sure tackler next to Kirby Joseph. That alone should help to stop a lot of big runs up the middle. Offensively, continue to play like they did last week versus the Seahawks and run the ball a lot. The Cowboys have one of the worst run defenses in the league, which helps Goff to be comfortable in the pocket. And I gave the same score prediction that I gave Wednesday and Friday and last Monday. I said 34-17. Was I wrong? Hell yeah, I was wrong, and I'm happy to admit it. We whooped the shit out of them. We made Jerry Jones cry on his birthday. And that being said, happy birthday to Jared Goff. Of course, it's going to affect our pass rush out of versus Minnesota. Why wouldn't it? But I don't expect Brad Holmes to do anything right now. I think he's going to play the next man up mentality like he has done with every other injury we've ever had. You can't lose a guy like Hutch and have it not. That was very funny to see Jerry cry. Can you imagine making somebody cry on their birthday? Oh, yeah, the Lions did it. Will this be the week we see that Mike McCarthy gets fired? That's the biggest question. Because the last time we beat a team like this, it was the Raiders last year. Uh, do I really think there's any way? It all depends on AG. Is he a defensive coordinator? Did he dial up pressure after Hutch went down? Yes, he did. So that's what gives me that next man up mentality attitude. And we haven't seen anything other than next man up mentality out of Brad Holmes. Fans always want us. They wouldn't show the replay of Hutch's injury even in real time. I knew. Oh, so did I. When they did show the replay of him, they focused on his face and didn't show his leg. And he said, "It's broken." My prediction was 42-17, so glad to have them exceed expectations. 100%. Jerry Jones told the media he wasn't going to, but I never trust Jerry when he talks to the media. No, he didn't say he wouldn't. Cowboys fans were crying, saying we ran up the score. Oh, we did 100%, and I love it. Because guess what? You run your offense until your first string offense is off the field. They forget that the last 7 minutes of Lions possession was Hendon Hooker and the backup. We sent in the choir boys, guys. We haven't done that ever since Dan Campbell's been here. We had the choir boys on the field. And when I say the choir boys, because they warmed up with the fat lady on the sideline, came in and said, "Okay, starters, you did enough. Take the rest of the night off." It, everybody forgets, but we didn't run it up. We we pulled our guys with 7 minutes left in the game. We played our backup. The choir boys didn't score, but you know what they didn't do? They didn't let them score either. That was what I thought was great. It was so bad they put Cooper Rush in. Everybody think about that. The fourth quarter, it was Cooper Rush. Dak was done. As long as they had starters on the field, as long as they had starters on the field, our starters stay in. I don't give a fuck, Dan Leonard. You want to stop the score from being ran up? Stop them. That's all you had to do. Stop them. If it wasn't for a hold, the score would have been 54-9. Yes, we saw Dak crying after he threw his third pick to Kirby want to say the 20,000 fans that was at Ford Field last night, they were electric. We saw Eric from the Rocked On podcast. We saw Wayne Rogers, one of the fans of the Rocked On podcast. Trace, of course, her and I traveled there together. It was an amazing time. Oh, Jesus Christ. I'm not even going to get into the intentionally hurt shit because that isn't what happened. That was a freak injury. His own guy hit his leg while he was trying to wrap up. Sucks. It was Lee McNeil when he was coming through. He kicked Hutch's shin when it happened. I just don't bring up that shit. Well, it was the first one, and I think the only other one will be in the playoffs if we're on the road. And I expect we'll be on the road because without Hutch, I see us as a wild card team now. We're still a Super Bowl contender. I don't care what anybody says. No. Simple answer, JBJ. No. The views and opinions of Jeremy Baldrick Jr. are not that of the kneecap biting with the Motor City Lions chamber, the channel, nor me smoking Jeremy B. Um, I'd say he's an idiot savant, but I think it's mostly just an idiot. I get sick of the stupid takes. With the loss of Hutchinson, we might be. We got to beat Minnesota. It's next week, next man up. War week doesn't start till tomorrow. It is still week 6. There's a game to be played tonight. That means Levi O and Pascal and Ukwu and everybody else has to stand up. I don't remember who made that comment weeks ago, but I know somebody in the comments made that comment weeks ago. But man, if you ever have the chance to go to Ford Field for one of these watch parties, do it. That's all I got to say. It is well worth it. The $25, it was hanging out with the fans that made it best. I made a few more subs. They're gonna watch our show now. Just by talking football. I literally called things happening before they happened. Uh, Trace was sitting next to me, and she goes, "It's Gibbs' turn to get a touchdown." I said, "No, it's going to be JMO." And the very next pass was the deep pass where he burned Diggs. They won't let me smoke, Jeremy. Yes, the O line reported a lot. How great was it to see Skipper reported as a tackle eligible receiver and have him line up at wide receiver, wide right? Nobody even looked at him. He even jumped early and didn't get a false start. I thought that was funny. But the good news is, now let's get into that Hutch injury. Like I said, there's no vein damage, no nerve damage, no tendon, no ligament damage. The surgery was successful. If he's on the active roster at week 18 somehow, there's a chance he could be back by the Super Bowl because that's exactly 6 months from today. There was a couple. They left really early, Fred, I'll tell you. And there was a couple of right. We are still leading Super Bowl contenders. I didn't say we weren't. No matter what anybody says, because of this offense, we will be considered that right now. What's the goal of every game? I want to know that right now. If you are coaching a team, what is the goal of every game? To win, to put up more points. So if you coach your team to win, yes, I remember Mike Utley, and I remember how the team rallied around him after his major injury when he broke his neck. This is going to be one of those things. I see it coming. Hopefully, Hutch is out of the hospital and he can be on the side. Oh, I still think we can beat the Vikings. I didn't say we can't. Nowhere did I say we can't. I said it'll be our biggest test without Hutchinson. Is all I said. When is Iffy the blitzing machine returning? We don't know. There's no word on Iffy. I can't give you a time frame. I thought he had surgery and he's done for the year. Yeah, earliest he could come back was December. And everybody's like, "No, he didn't. That was Ariane Arnold. Oh, he was getting a haircut. He had a typo." You know, I'm just sick of everybody saying this person said this person that. If he had surgery on his ankle, he's done, done for a while. But I will tell you what the Hutchinson injury did. They can pick up the fifth year option, and they won't have to rush to sign him. And I'm going to say this for one reason, because they got to see him on the field doing it again. And as soon as they see him perform in one game, all it's going to take is one game where he gets at least a sack and a bunch of pressures, and he'll get his deal done then next year. That's my prediction on what happened with Aiden Hutchinson. Right. We have to get pressure on Darnold. We have to hold them down. We have to stop Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones is healthy. He'll be playing this week, it looked like. He was back at practice on Friday for the Vikings during their bye week. So it's next man up here. It's time to see if Brad Holmes is right in what he's doing or not. And if he's not, we'll know at the end of that game. That's why I said nothing will get done in week 7. I'm if something gets done, hallelujah. Brad broke the mold. He did something. Oh, Darnold is easily rattled. You saw that when he played against the Jets. Darnold didn't beat them. Rodgers beat himself. It was a good thing he had a week off to become the Sam Darnold he was the first few weeks, because last week he was not Sam Darnold. Not that we've seen this season. He was old Sam Darnold and looking skittish. I thought he saw a ghost again out there. Right. Exactly that, Dwayne King. You know what's funny is we've had injuries like this before that has rallied this team when it wasn't as good. What have we been touting all offseason about this team? The depth of talent on this roster is the best we've ever seen. Yes, sir, Fred. And that's what I expect they're going to do this week. I, I, I'm almost willing to make a bet there's no trades made this week. That's how confident I am in what Brad Holmes in this front office does. Yes, Dan Campbell now has a winning record. 28, 27, and 1. Considering he inherited a 3-13-1 team. The way this team has turned around with him, it's been amazing. But you know what? The season isn't over if we lose at Minnesota in a close game. The only thing that does is makes it harder for us because number one, the Bears haven't played a divisional opponent. So that would make them second place and we move to third because we have more conference wins than the Packers. So with the entire NFC North, other than the undefeated team playing, which is still undefeated, despite what anybody says, we're going to do the division standings right now, top to bottom. In first place, they can get Skullfuck. In second place, it's the Mighty Mighty Lions. In third place, it's Fuck the Bears. And in last place, it's FTT. Fuck the Packers. We are playing in Minnesota. I am not saying we're going to lose. I said if we lose. Everybody takes everything so seriously. And what did we do last night, everybody? Yes, it was great seeing the Patrick and the secondary improve. You know what Dan Campbell said last night? Yeehaw! Fuck them Cowboys! 4 week starts tomorrow. That's what I know. We're going to be practicing all week. We're going to be scheming it up versus Minnesota. We have not looked past a single opponent this season. We have been in every game or won all but one, and we cooked them. We fried them up like they were dropped over an open fire on a spigot. We barbecued them Michigan style. It just sucks that we can't get Hutch back before the season. I don't think. I think that's a pipe dream. I think anybody thinks that's happening. Am I tripping? But is the stick figure farting? I no. That's the humping motion that they do. 31-24 Lions. I think it's going to be a lot lower scoring than that. I just I see like no matter who wins 27-24 at most. Both defenses are really good. Do you realize who the top four teams in not just in the NFC, in the NFL in point differential is, guys? That's awesome, Big Dan. Have fun. Every time you think you've seen everything out of the Lions, they throw another wrinkle at you, or they bring out an old trick play and run it to it with a different outcome. Just think if the Panay Sewell touchdown would have stuck, it would have been 56-9, or I mean 54-9, and that have been the most scoring done on the road in NFL history by the Lions. 1952 versus the Packers. The record was 52 points. I wanted to get it. I'm not gonna lie. I wanted that record. I wanted the franchise scoring record yesterday. I was scoreboard watching the second half after it got through the third quarter because I was like, "Oh, we got a chance." They'd have kept the first string offense out there one more drive, we'd have had it. But at the same time, what does it cost you pushing to run up to that score? And if Decker caught that touchdown also. Yeah, I always hear any given Sunday, so we can't take the Queens lightly like some people are. Yeah, and the Bucks obliterated the Saints. Yes, they absolutely did. But look at that sign. What does it say? More fight, more heart, more grit. It takes more. And that's what it takes. It takes more. Yeah, Baker Mayfield had a game. He also threw a bunch of picks. 4 touchdowns is great, but when they get 3 touchdowns off of your 3 interceptions, that's not good. Yeah, it was awesome almost seeing Panay score. Yeah. The dagger for me, when I knew they were done, and it was that 34-6 score. Not gonna lie. Wanna know when it was? As soon as Nowoski got a sack on the next play after Hutchinson was carted off the field. I was like, "Oh, they're cooked. They're done. There's no way." 'Cause there was still like what was it, 9, 10 minutes left? Let me see what the time says on that picture. There's still 11, yeah, almost 12 minutes. But it was a double flea flicker this time. That was the difference. The first time was just a flea flicker. JMO came across, flipped it back to Goff and down the field. This time it was a double. Yeah, they called Frank for being ineligible, and he was past that line of scrimmage. I get it. I know it wasn't. I'm not talking about the one where Decker didn't even catch the ball. I'm talking about the one where somebody scored and it was called back. Oh yeah, we lost that game on our own. We got too pass happy in the red zone and they just shut us down. That's what happened. We went 1 for 7 in the red zone. That's all on coaching and play calling. It had nothing to do with whether or not the team did well. You cover up the score, look at the statistics. The Lions obliterated the Bucks that game. Much like it looked like the Seahawks obliterated the Lions when you look at the stats because we went to that stupid prevent zone defense that almost bit us in the ass. Luckily, our offense said, "Screw it, we're going to keep scoring. We can't go off the field because the defense doesn't stop." And evidently, AG learned from that. No, that was Zietler, but they called Frank's number. Is what I think she's getting at. But man, that crowd, I didn't think it would be that loud because it was only 1/3 of the lower bowl plus part of the second balcony, and it was like from the tunnel to the end zone is all they filled up at the stadium. But and it wasn't completely full either, but it was full enough that I think still think there was about 20,000 fans there. It was amazing. such a great time. What was funny is that Minnesota fan, his daughter that was with him, and his daughter was a Dak Prescott fan. You remember that, Trace? It it was really loud in there. Yes, it was. Again, so there's the view. Our seats were right about halfway down. It was pretty cool to see. They had the cheerleaders there. They played Gridiron Heroes every time we scored a touchdown. It was no different than any other home game, except we were watching it on TV. But if you're up in the nosebleeds, guess what? 9 times out of 10, you're watching it on TV. Oh, I know he's got good hands. You forget the game sealing first down he got versus Minnesota. He looked better than TJ Hawkinson on that play. Oh, it was a double flea flicker? I thought it was just a single flea. Either way, I'm glad it happened and I'm glad it worked. Did you guys see during the game, Pittsburgh tried the same thing and failed miserably? That was funny. But that was a lot of fun. The whole thing. My phone went dead right after the injury because everybody blew it up. I was sitting at like 20%. By the time the cart got off, it was at 3. So I just had to turn it off. So I'll do more research, see who's available out there. I know everybody's talking Trayvon Walker and Max Crosby. That doesn't sound much like a Brad Holmes type of move. I think it's going to be a guy on an expiring contract. So that leaves me 2 targets, and I'll talk about those tomorrow because I don't want to shoot all my wad in one day. But man, what a week the NFL had this week. It was pretty pretty phenomenal. Bengals won 17-7. Thank you, Moonscar. I love it. The likes are up today. Falcons beat the Panthers. That wasn't unexpected. 32-13. Steelers over Raiders. Chargers beating the Broncos in Denver. That was a little surprising to me, but they got the win. Eagles beat the Browns. No surprise there. Texans whooped the Patriots. No surprise there. The Colts beat the Titans at home. That one was surprising. The Packers whooped the dog crap out of the Cardinals. They don't look like they even got off the plane. The Ravens beat the Commanders by a touchdown. And the Buccaneers, holy smokes, 51-27. Chris Godwin being the leading receiver for him in that game. And of course, the Bears whooped the crap out of the Jaguars. It's great, David Barnett. It's one of the main reasons why we do what we do on offense. Um, As long as we're running the ball, they can do that. They can do those trick plays. It's when the game fails, if somebody shuts us down and makes us one dimensional, that we struggle. But at the same time, we didn't get shut down by Tampa Bay. We kind of shut ourselves down in the red zone. That's what I saw. I hope that makes sense how I'm wording it. Because every time we were in the red zone, we called passing plays. We weren't running the ball up the gut. Vita Vita was out that entire second half. We should have had 3 rushing touchdowns in those 3 red zone visits, but we didn't take advantage of it. That was what I saw was concerning. No, no, I didn't see that. I haven't been looking through YouTube. You know what? I was exhausted. All the screaming, all the yelling. It was a lot of fun. And tomorrow I'll show the memorabilia I picked up. Uh, what's really cool is they now have an all-you-can-eat popcorn bucket, which is a plastic take-home souvenir bucket now. Um, I've got a poster. It was raining, so I couldn't bring that in last night. I didn't want to ruin the poster. And I got this towel. Cameron Luke says it's a madhouse down here in Dallas. It literally says, I reported to Ford Field for the Dallas watch party and the date. So I will have all that stuff up tomorrow. Today was mostly about getting the news out about the team, what I saw, what I liked. I didn't have any dislikes on anything. The only thing I dislike, CD3 going down, you gotta admit, CD Lamb stopped doing stuff once it was Builder and Dorsey on him. And I don't get that. We didn't see Rakestraw until they put the second string out there, and he was doing okay. But CD Lamb, and Trey says again, if you get the chance to go to a Lion watch party, go. It's worth it. 100%. We make the playoffs and are on the road this year. I'm definitely going to go to whatever one they did. This is the first regular season one they've done in Ford Field history. Oh, we all dislike the Hutch injury, Patty Grimes. 100%. Anybody that says that they're happy that Hutch got injured, they're not a football fan. Period. Praying for injuries of anyone is awful. I'm just happy it wasn't a. You know what? And yes, Fred, you're right. But at the same time, you know, people are poking fun that we only beat one team with a winning record. Um, Seattle was undefeated. Dallas had a winning record when we faced them. We made them be at 500. Bucks, they were a winning team when we faced them. Arizona was a winning team when we faced them. Oh, 100%. That's what we need to do on offense. Our speed needs to be what beats them. And we also need David Montgomery with his angry run. Thank you, Michael Marsh. Here's to a speedy recovery for Hutch. We dodged a bullet. I'm not going to lie. You look at this picture, that doesn't look good. But it's just a broken tibia. There is no nerve damage, no ligament damage, no tendon damage, no muscle damage. It was a clean break. Thank God. That's dodging a bullet, guys. Because if it was any of those other things, that's a career ender. I know, JB. I was on your side, other than yet they always seem to change their story to fit their narrative. Yeah, it's not a reach. And at the same time, the Bears are playing who's in front of them. And they've done what they're supposed to do. No Alex Smith complications, 100%. It is just a fractured shin bone. Hey, JB, a Lions fan said that he saw Dallas fans rooting for the Lions. Well, yeah, they wanted to root for a team that could score. I saw it on the TV. There was one little Dallas Dak Prescott girl that left during the second quarter crying. We dodged a bullet, guys. And we've been lucky. Even though we've had this injury happen and that injury happen, the fact that none of them are career enders yet, we dodged bullets. Let's pray for a speedy recovery for Hutch. And holy crap, yes, it can be 8 weeks exactly for a bone to heal. We all know this. But the muscles around it has to heal too. That's my point. That the rehab. You don't want him out there looking like Aaron Rodgers with a leg half the size of the other one trying to plant and throw footballs. Also, I nearly predicted a Dallas versus Detroit. I predicted 49-7, final score 47-9. Yeah, you got dyslexic a little, but that's okay. We'll take it. I thought it would be 37-17 or 34-17. That was what I predicted all week. But for some reason, that's what I saw. And at one point, it looked like there was a chance of seeing that. What did Jerry Jones get for his birthday besides the cowboy loss? Um, Heartburn, disgraced, rejected, and possibly looking for a new head coach. I'm going to call it now. I think Mike McCarthy's fired before the end of the week. But it has been great talking to you. I have to give homage to my real sponsor now. That is Brandon's Tire, located at the corner of South Grand Traverse and West Atherton Road, 602 West Atherton Road, where in Flint, where the water's shit, but the tires are good. Used tires starting at 45 bucks and up. New tires, call to get your quote, 810-233-8230. Talk to George, Red, or hey, myself, I work there too. Stop in and check us out. If you need a set of tires, mention this ad, you will get 10 bucks off. I think Jerry Jones needs to stop being the GM. That was also the largest loss the Cowboys have taken at home since Jerry took over in the 80s. 100%. But try every day to be a better person than you were the day before. The only way that make the world a better place. Tune in tonight as we do the Monday mashup with